I believe 6 years almost.
And this is why I'm leaving.
This has got your organisational skills written all over it. You've been at Fareshare, we understand, nearly 6 years. Started over in Bedminster with a maximum of 30 volunteers when it first started off near Templegate Industrial Estate. We were there for 3.5 before we moved here, and we're up to now nearly 150 volunteers. So there's been a massive leap in the size of Fareshare and the number of projects that have covered.
About 30, isn't it?
It's got nothing to do with popularity.
He didn't say they all liked you.
What we're going to do is call upon a few people that want to say a few words about how you've affected them at Fareshare. And to lead that, I think we'll start off with you, Jackie. Oh. There you go. Surprise, surprise.
It's a different show.
Can I say a few, words?
Okay. So, Peter. I remember the interview well. I think we probably had about 4 people that came for interviews. And yeah, you just stood out a mile, really.
All the others said no.
I interview very well, Andy. Getting jobs is not the problem, it's all
and what was it you said around there, Mark?
Well, it's a ginger thing, we know that.
Is it?
We know that.
Ginger? I don't have a problem with it. It just don't happen to be.
And your height definitely came into it.
Andy was involved in the interview process as well. Minimum 6'3".
So in typical Fareshare fashion, I think I've just been disturbed by... No, I haven't. There's a band that has never quite made it back for depot, and I'm kind of on standby for it. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So this is quite usual.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, you've been probably one of the best people I've ever worked with.
Here, here.
Yes. I've never really seen you flat. Your patience is amazing. Everybody, I think, loves Pete.
Hey!
Yay!
No.
It's been a real pleasure working with you. And I did go through a bit of bereavement when you gave your notice in, actually.
Yes.
I felt quite like I needed some counselling. Yeah, so you're going to be sorely missed.
Thank you.
Hey!
Exactly what you said there. Pete's one of those guys that everybody thinks, he's not really got a bad word to say about him. He doesn't really upset people. Okay, he doesn't always make the right decisions. He doesn't organise things 100% of the time. But what you can't say about Pete is, I don't really like him. He's a good all-rounder, mate, aren't you? Next, one of your heightest mates is going to come up. Oh no, sorry, Andy, you're not quite yet, are you? Beg your pardon. Jack, who else was it after you? Alan. Oh, sorry, Agnes. Agnes.
And he's on the payroll.
Just because I used to clean the toilets in a hotel, and I was the chambermaid for today, my name was Agnes. And then for 6 months I worked with these people. Then some foolish people employed me. Only because they had gone to the Feed the 5,000 and they thought, oh, Fareshare is brilliant. Anyway, I've never been able to get into flat. I can't imagine Fareshare without it.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
And I'm just here for the food.
Yeah.
We're not going to go on for ages with this because this is, anyone who knows Pete knows that this isn't really his style. He gets a bit embarrassed and he doesn't like to be centre of attention. So,
Really?
says that.
Yeah. We can cut straight to Andy or Mo if you'd like to come and say a few words.
Well, Anthony might like to. I'd say too much most of the time, so... Well, I'll say a few words then. Sorry, Andy, you're only 10 boy. I don't know what to say, really, apart from what everyone else has said. I've worked quite closely with Pete, obviously, and he's setting all the new rounds and all the new CFMs, and I don't know what to say, but it was great. Short and sweet, and thanks for being patient for me, saying, here you are, just go to Pulpit Heath, or here you are, can you go to Wells, please? And he just takes it all on board, and so I just want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
Always had to defend that magic van, wasn't it? That 4 o'clocker that said, oh, we couldn't go out to so and so, and they almost seemed to manage to find someone.
You can always rust off a van in person. It's true.
Exactly. Andy, would you like to pop up eventually?
Yes. I spot the similarity.
Shiny head syndrome.
What? Follically challenged. Can you say that in public?
You can, Andy. You can get away with that.
I can get away
I can
with
get
it.
away with it. Matt can't. Sad day. His hair's growing back miraculously.
I reckon actually when Pete started, we probably both had hair. No, it wasn't that long ago.
Slightly more than.
Probably not.
Depends which bit of the body you're talking about.
I do recall Pete coming to interview, and I can remember us actually having a relatively, in fact, a very easy decision in getting Pete on board. And over the years, whenever I've come into the warehouse at the old place and the new place, Pete has always been very welcoming, big smiling face, and we've always had a good chat. I think I'd echo everything that people have said. Pete is just one of those guys that you'd call a nice guy. He has been part of the team, an integral part of the team, when he was really only a couple of people actually, right from the start. And as the team's grown, he's remained very much an integral part of that team. I'm going to miss you, mate, actually, a lot. I know in Charlie we've got a really good replacement, and we want to welcome Charlie to the team. I guess in many ways, Fareshare has done some amazing work and continues. And those of you who are either part of the team and you've been part of that team, and those of you here who volunteer either as trustees or in the warehouse and driving the van, you should be rightly proud to be part of such an amazing organisation. The impact that Fareshare has in this city, delivering food to 150 charities, many of whom you know quite well yourself because you've been part of them or you've been associated with them. You should be rightly proud about the work that Fareshare does. And Pete has been part of building that foundation to a point where we can look to the next stage of growth of Fareshare with a high degree of confidence in terms of increasing that impact even more. There's one embarrassing incident though that I wanted to remind people of. It's actually more embarrassing for me than it is for him. There was a time in the early days of Fareshare, Pete might recall that from time to time I'd fit into my schedule to drive the van. He probably doesn't remember this, but in the early days, I'm not sure it was actually, because this particular incident, I don't think it was before your time, but I remember going out in the early stages of driving the van, and I forgot that, of course, the vans have got long wheelbase, and that when you try and cut the corner around the back end of another wide van, you are at risk, if you're not careful, of pulling the side against the corner of the said white van that you're trying to drive around. And that's exactly what I did. And I remember having to, in fact it was rather nice because I was driving a white van, the other guy who was similarly driving a white van said, "Oh, that's all right, mate, no problem. I can't see a scratch. There's a flipping great dent in the side of the van." And I had to come back rather sheepishly and explain that, sorry mate, there's a dent in the van. I think it remained for some time. I think by the time we replaced the vans, just about every panel had dents. So I wasn't the only one.
That's the one, is it?
Thank him publicly for being so patient and nice about it, grinning through his teeth. That's all right, Andy, don't worry. But,
see, had I been hard on you, I might not have set the groundwork for all the other dents.
But I think the other thing I'd like to say, just to finish, I've said too much, is Fareshare has always been a very happy ship, I think. And Pete has been very much at the core of making sure that it is a happy ship. You know, I'm sure that will remain the case. The fact that Charlie's a miserable old git, no, I'm joking. It's not true, mate.
Did you say old?
We'll keep that going, I'm sure. But I just want to thank you publicly, Pete. We've had a little gift, and I stress the word little. No, it's a very generous gift. But I want to thank you for all that you've done. And your involvement and commitment to Fareshare will remain long in our memories. And I mean that very sincerely. And I hope that every now and again you'll pop in and see us for a cup of tea, and you won't forget us too easily.
If he doesn't, we'll pop into his.
Here comes you.
So thanks again, mate. I appreciate it.
Hey!
Give this speech. There's a lot of nice words in there from most of the people here, in fact all the people here I think, and I think they probably reflect all of our thoughts, and yeah, thanks very much for your help. I know that comes for everybody now, and you've always been very supportive and always had time to listen to people at Fareshare, and yeah, my thanks are exactly the same as other people, so thank you very much.
Speech! Speech!
Get my notes. Well, thanks very much, everybody. That's really, really kind of you. Yeah, genuinely moving. Thank you. It's been really, really good. It has been genuinely great. Definitely what I'll be taking away with me is memories of people. I think probably most of you know that, you know, that's kind of my key motivator anyway. And honestly, I've never met such friendly, welcoming, giving group. Thanks, yeah, in any of my working career, it's you guys are definitely what makes the job at times really, really enjoyable. The fact that so many people are prepared to give so much of their time for something is constantly humbling, and the support from the board and from staff as well. There's so much talent, experience and skill there. You know, it's been great seeing it grow. I think from now on, you know, it's going to get more interesting, more involvement. I think Charlie's coming in at a great time. I think it's just going to go forwards. You guys are all behind it. Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am around for another couple of weeks, so whoever's written the